I would like to welcome all of you to our 100 Days Dinner, one of my favorite traditions here at Tilton School. As I think some of you have figured out, we actually have 96 days, or when we finish up tonight, about 2,304 hours until commencement. It's very exciting, and tonight is a time for all of us to not only celebrate this milestone, but to begin our goodbyes and figure out how you, the seniors, are going to depart. This year has been exceptional. It's been fueled by your sense of pride in yourselves and our school. It has permeated our community, and it has made a true difference to how this year has gone. Before we begin our meal, I would like to first extend a special thank you to the entire development office who made this happen. Lots of people have worked so hard on behalf of you to make this event special. But the lead person doing this is Miss Sedgley, and she's not able to be here tonight, but I would like to honor her and her team with a round of applause. Now, I am pleased to introduce Justin Cotillo. I actually practiced that, just so you know. Justin Cotillo, Tilton School class of 2001. Justin attended Tilton as a 4-year day student. And after graduation, he went on to Boston University. And after BU, Justin moved to San Francisco and started an internet marketing company specializing in search engine optimization, application development, and website design. For the last 9 years, Justin has served as Vice President of Path Resorts, a hospitality company with 3 unique and complementary hotels in the Lakes region, including Steel Hill Resorts, the Summit Resort, and the Center Harbor Inn. While at Tilton, Justin played football, lacrosse, and was also part of the ski team. He worked on the newspaper and was in the student government, serving as student body president during his senior year. Recently, Justin and Coach Hollingsworth reconnected at the company's newest property, the Center Harbor Inn. While at Tilton, Justin played for Coach Hollingsworth, and one of his fondest Tilton memories is being on the football team. Justin has a son named Julian and has promised to bring him to a home football game this upcoming season. Justin, we're definitely going to hold you to that. Let's give a warm welcome to Justin F. Cotillo.
I want to thank you all for having me come out tonight, giving me the opportunity to speak with you. I knew when Coach H called me up on a Sunday night that you guys were in trouble. Pulling me off the bench in the 4th quarter to offer wisdom or perspective is a bit like asking the water boy to win you the Super Bowl. But nevertheless, here we are. I would like to offer a complete segue for a minute that probably has very little to do with the subject of tonight, but I'll try to bring it back around for you. As a kid, I was very close to my grandfather. He is a person I have tremendous respect for and still think of often to this day. I have a bad habit of shoehorning his mention into any situation to help keep his memory alive. Ralph was a World War II Navy fighter pilot. He later went on to provide air support to troops flying Corsairs in the Korean War. During his life, the man survived 3 plane crashes. One as the victim of a mid-air collision in training school, 1 shoot down over the Pacific, and a belly landing of a private plane due to engine failure at takeoff. Think about those odds for a moment. I grew up living next to my family's hotel business. I used to walk down to the corporate office and visit with my grandfather all the time as a kid. We would grab food in the restaurant and talk about life. It gave me a touch point on who he was as a business person. The guy thrived on risky decisions, much to his own detriment at times. Over-leveraged, stretched out, overworked, charging into one business after another with very limited credentials. He had dropped out of Brown University to join the Navy when the war broke out. Later on, after his passing, my father provided a series of colorful stories and family mythology to drive home Ralph's fearless approach to business. The man defined the term self-made, and he suffered several near scorching brushes with full-on bankruptcy along the way. There's really a lot of stories there. Time has passed since those days. My brother and I run the family business now. I can honestly say I would never take a fraction of the risk that Ralph took during his career. Yet every day, I stand on his shoulders as I climb the stairs to the very same corporate office that I would visit him at as a kid. How could someone subject themselves to such a live or die lifestyle and still retain a sense of humor along the way? It's an interesting question. It was truly like nothing bothered this man. My grandfather taught me a life lesson in context. The measure of risk that he took in his civilian life didn't even register on the same scale as his wartime experiences. So, back to the subject of the night here. There's 100 days left in your senior year. So what is your context here? I struggled to think about what to say to a group of men and women in your position. What piece of wisdom to hand out like so much cheap candy. I tried to remember myself in those shoes almost 20 years ago. Crisscrossing the walkways between classes at Tilton, carrying my silly oversized duffel bag with every book I had for fear I might leave something behind or miss out on a homework assignment. It's all a bit foggy at this point, to be honest with you. I remember fellow seniors started to keep it a bit more real with each other towards the end. I remember as the snow melted, it began to drive home the closure of this momentous chapter in my life. The walls that defined the various groups of students began to melt away, and the importance of friendship began to supersede almost everything else towards the end. There are a few points of great change in your life where you have the opportunity to take stock of a situation as it's actually happening. For those of you that go on to have children, there is a moment just before the birth of your first where you can take a breath and celebrate the life you had to that point, knowing that the future will offer great joys and new challenges to test yourself against. I think that tonight is a lot like that in many ways. If I were to suggest a fleeting bit of wisdom, I would say, force yourself to fully appreciate the situation. The high school experience has a tendency to place a label on you. Jock, nerd, introvert, high achiever, slacker for some. Use the next 100 days to be as close to your genuine self as possible. You stand on the brink of the greatest potential that you may ever have in your life. Those that know themselves will find the path least rocky along the way. And at the end of the day, the friends that like you for your true self are the ones that will stand by you when you need them the most. Thanks for bringing me up tonight. I appreciate it.
Justin, thank you very much. So tonight, now we're going to move to our meal, and what will happen is that a member of the dining hall staff will come and dismiss your table to go over to the buffet. Okay? Great, thank you. Before we get started, let's please give a round of applause for the kitchen and the whole staff here at Trinity. I'm pleased to introduce our second alumni speaker tonight. A familiar face to most of us. Trinity White, Tilton School class of 2019. Trinity was a 2-year student at Tilton from Sandwich, Mass. While here at school, she played field hockey, ice hockey, and lacrosse. And during prize night, she was awarded the award for Academic Dean's Prize for her perseverance in her studies. We clearly remember her can-do attitude and her ability to confront many challenges. Some of those challenges involved spending time with me during more than a few Sunday work crews. And if you ever wonder who has maintained all the plastic zip ties holding up the windscreens on the tennis courts, look no further. She is right here.
What up, Fred?
Tonight she's joined by her family seated right over here. Let's give them a round of applause for being here tonight. Trinity is finishing up her first year at Becker College, where she earned a role on the varsity ice hockey team. Tonight, it's great to have her back with us. Please join me in welcoming Trinity Jean White.
Hello everyone, it is great to see you all and it is a huge honor to be up here speaking in front of you tonight. Thank you to Mr. Saliba for believing in me and asking me to be here. I know you are all shocked that I'm here today, but I'm just as thrown off as you are. Not that long ago, I was sitting in the same chairs as you, thinking about how excited I was to go to college, with only 100 more days till graduation. What I didn't realize at the time was how much the people who surrounded me at Tilton were going to impact me today. I want to share with all of you my journey to and through Tilton and a couple of things I learned along the way. As many of you know, my high school career began at Sandwich High School on the Cape. The school itself, as well as the people, were significantly different from Tilton. The crowd I hung around didn't really play sports, and to be honest, many of them didn't really care about school either. I loved everything about the Cape, but in the back of my mind, I knew that I wanted to go to college for the sport that I loved. I had to try to go to a prep school. When I first discovered Tilton, I honestly was not planning on going. I loved hockey more than anything, and the high school team that I was playing for at Sandwich High wasn't the best. Delaney, you can vouch for that. But the thought of leaving the Cape and everything I knew was pretty scary. As I visited prep schools, it became clear to me that Tilton felt different than the others. Coach Teff spoke honestly with me about both my strengths and my weaknesses as a player. And I left my meeting feeling like I could really make a difference here at Tilton. After I was accepted, my family kept telling me how proud they were of me. When I heard this, I remember thinking to myself, there's no reason for you to be proud of me unless I actually go and have success. So I said, why not? I'll try it out. Tilton was far from home, and when I arrived, it was nothing that I had ever experienced before. My parents were gone, and I was surrounded by my teammates and soon-to-be friends. I was very intimidated, but I also felt a kind of freedom that I never had before. I soon found out that with all the freedom we received came expectations. Of course, I missed our first dorm meeting, was late to study hall, and got locked out of the dorm all within the first week. I felt waves of completely different emotions just bursting inside my brain at random moments. But through all this, I still knew Tilton was where I wanted to be. I had never made new friends so quickly, and the teachers actually called me Trinity, not Tiffany, as they seem to always do in Sandwich. My grades had never been good, and they continued to plummet through my first year at Tilton. I felt like I was on top of the world, but what I realized later was that I did not have my priorities straight. I was not really thinking about the significance of my junior year of high school and how it was going to impact my future. Instead, I found myself wrapped up in shenanigans with some of my peers. It was not until I was sitting in summer school, retaking math class, that I truly realized the consequences of my actions over the past year. I did not want to be the student who struggled in their classes anymore. I did not want to be the kid who got in trouble anymore. And I definitely did not want to be spending my summer days in math class. But for these things to happen, I knew I had to make some changes. In the famous words of Coach H, there are people in life that are fountains and there are people that are drains. And while I do take responsibility for all my actions, what I realized over the summer before my senior year was that in order for me to be successful, I had to surround myself with people who believed in me and who I could believe in return. If you take the time to invest in positive relationships, there's really no limit to what you can accomplish. I had to lean on others to expand the possibilities of my future. I finally made it through summer school, and when it came to senior year, I decided that I needed to cut the drains out of my life. Through this choice, I felt like I finally knew what I wanted to do and how I was going to do it. The people you surround yourself truly affect who you are and the choices that you make. I began to fill my life with only fountains because I wanted and knew that I could do better, but I knew I needed help. When I met Miss Young, she was shy, but we all know I cracked her shell within the first few advisory meetings. She was so put together and smart, yet she could have fun and make me laugh. I immediately looked up to her as a huge role model in my life, and I still keep in touch with her. We spent many nights working on econ. I know that when I call her for advice, she will always be honest with me, whether I want to hear it or not. My relationship with Miss Young is just one example of how Tilton is filled with people who truly care and want to help. My senior year was a whirlwind. I went from living entirely in the moment to actually focusing on where I wanted to spend the next 4 years of my life and how I was going to get there. I was finding real success in the classroom, on the turf, and on the ice, and to be honest, it felt really good. I was going to play hockey in college, and that motivated me to be better in all aspects of my life. Everyone kept telling me how proud they were of me, and it made me think back to when I first found out I was going to Tilton. Except this time, I did not want to take an entire year in summer school to actually make these people proud. Tilton prepared me for every aspect of college because it allowed me to make some mistakes, learn from them, and come out on the other side with people who truly cared about everything that I did. I know you are all excited to graduate, and trust me, college is awesome. But I want to leave you all with something that you should keep in mind. When you move on to the next chapter in your life, you won't be surrounded by a community like Tilton. When you're on your way to lunch, you won't say hello to 15 different people on your way there. You won't hear Ashlyn screaming down the halls of the academic building, and you won't have Kirker to hype you up all the time. Keep in touch with the people you have made relationships with here, because they will always be the people you can lean on in the future. I know that there's still so much I need to do to be successful, but with everything that Tilton taught me, I feel confident that I am moving in the right direction.
Thank you, Trinity. That was great. Tonight, we originally had two speakers to speak, and Mr. Cates is down with stomach bug, I hear. I heard it was ugly.
Yeah.
That's what I heard. Yeah. Okay. So our final speaker is your classmate, Maggie Callender. And she needs no introduction other than to acknowledge that she earned the honor of speaking here tonight by vote of the senior class. I know that Maggie cares about you, her classmates, tremendously, and I'm looking forward to her words tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, Maggie Callender.
I have spent 1,264 days as a Ram. Throughout those days, I've made countless memories, and this past week, I've tried my best to think about the moments that have resonated with me the most. My Snapchat memories definitely helped me a little bit, but I knew the best times I had on the hill weren't captured on my phone. The theme of the school year has been Moments Matter, but I didn't think much into it until I had to write this speech. And it got me thinking about the endless moments that I've experienced at Tilton and how impactful each one was. I know that this is a lot easier said than done, and I'm putting all of you on the spot right now, but I hope throughout the next couple of minutes, all of you can think about just one moment that you've experienced at Tilton that you will never forget. Whether it be in 5 years or 30 years, what will be what you think of when you think of Tilton? Whether it be being woken up by a fire alarm in the middle of the night or 7:30 on a Sunday morning. Although dreadful at the moment, it's times like those that you'll look back and do nothing but smile. Throughout my 4 years here, I've endured things that I will hold on to me forever. From literally living in Knowles Lobby with Hope and Brenna freshman year, we have come so far. To when my hair was dyed pink for the first, but definitely not the last time, by Kat, MC, and Alyssa, people who forever have such a special place in my heart. It's crazy to think that I've been here for 3 years without them, but not a day goes by that I won't think about how grateful I was that these cool senior girls genuinely liked me. Lots of moments we experience at not only Tilton, but anywhere we find ourselves throughout our lives could always potentially be our last. Last one you share with someone you hold close to your heart. In less than 100 days, the people sitting in this room will probably never have the opportunity to see Coach H up at school meeting yelling at all of us to be fountains instead of drains. Also sad to say, my club hockey career will be ending Wednesday, and I will more than likely never put on the pads to play Cardigan Mountain again. Looking back, it makes me regret not appreciating the close quarters of West Knowles, because I just wish I could sprain my ankle one more time, so I had an excuse to spend another night sleeping on Cheyenne's floor. It's weird going from constantly sharing moments with the same person to not knowing the next time you'll ever see them again. Those moments are what I have to hold on to, especially after not seeing her for almost 10 months. One thing Tilton has definitely taught me is to never take the moments you share with the people you love for granted. The nights I spent bumping to E40 and Burner in the art building during study hall complaining to McQuinney about who even knows what will be moments I will never forget, especially because I'll never get to talk to her again. The recent loss of former faculty member Aiden McQuinney has opened my eyes and helped me realize how much we really need to cherish every single second we have on the hill together, especially in our last days. Seeing how excited my mother is every alumni weekend only gives me hope for the future, for the fact that Tilton will always hold us together, no matter where we end up finding ourselves. Now that you have, maybe or maybe not, thought about one memorable moment at Tilton, I want you to try and think of the first person you met when you first arrived on campus. Was it your roommate? Was it a teammate? Was it your dorm parent, proctor, or coach? Once you've thought of that, I hope you can backtrack throughout your time here and notice how far your relationship with that person has come. You may have never said another word to them again, or they could be your best friend now. Either or, on that specific day, that moment you had with that person is something you have remembered, proving to you how much that moment truly mattered. The thing with moments is that even though we want all of them to be great, it sadly doesn't work like that. I've experienced moments that caused me to questioning if coming back to Tilton was the best decision for me. In a matter of 4 days, I didn't get into the NHS, and I also lost student body VP. I had never felt so humiliated. The moment I sat in my dad's car while we were watching Peter Saliba and Tony Liang play tennis, making a pros and cons list about leaving, is one I will never forget. Tilton is the place I grew up, and although there were bad moments, in 30 years, when I'm thinking of Tilton, I'm not going to think of those. All I'm going to remember are the nights that we embraced in the dorm. I won't remember studying, but I will remember when Maloney girls thought it'd be a good idea to help each other levitate, with some assistance from Satan. I definitely won't remember my SAT score, but instead each and every horror movie that we forced Delaney to watch. I'll forever remember Ashlyn's spray getting confiscated. And I will definitely never forget that one time I beat Miss McCandless in squash. From sledding down either Maloney or Knowles Hill to trips down to the river, those moments are the ones I will always have with me, no matter where we end up. And I hope that it is the same for all of you. Although it's been 1,264 days since I became a Ram, and it may be the same for you, and it may not even be any number close to that, but something we will all have in common for the rest of our lives is that we will forever be Rams. Thank you. I am who I am.
Thank you, Maggie. Before I recognize our four-year seniors, I wanted to just say a couple things. First, I want you to know that saying goodbye is very hard to do, both for the people who are staying and those that are leaving. Our departure often brings out strong emotions in everyone. Sometimes these emotions are positive, and sometimes they are negative. All of us need to be aware of this as we navigate these last few months together. I also hope you will start considering the new role that you will be taking on after commencement. That is the role of being members of our Alumni Association. I cannot overemphasize the importance of this group of people, our Alumni Association, who will be connected forever. I know that some of you might be ready right now to leave. Most of you have reached the point where the rules make this place seem like jail sometimes. But I do know that all of you will value what happened during your time here. It might even be that you will miss this place more than you think possible. I know this because I'm the one on the road talking to alumni, taking their calls, hearing their stories, and reading their letters. It is amazing to hear all those stories and how much they love this school. Tilton exists because of its alumni. They support the school with contributions, they guard its history and its traditions, and they spread the good word of this school. You're able to be here at Tilton for many reasons, but you cannot underestimate the role that alumni have played in your experience. They are the ones who are responsible for keeping Tilton a thriving place. As members of the alumni, all of you have a responsibility to care for the school. It is an important expectation that all of us have for you. I believe that all of you will find a way to sustain our school in your own way. It's an individual choice. And also, I do want to conclude by talking about senior privileges. You've had the opportunity to request privileges through your senior class president, Bobby Hess. Currently, we are deliberating the ideas that you put forth and hope to get back to you shortly. New senior privileges will go into effect no later than after our return from spring break, although I hope they'll come sooner than that. And they will all apply to seniors in good standing. Now, if you have any questions about what good standing is, okay, come on by my office, or Miss Love will be glad to explain to you what that means. You guys are a special bunch. It's been a great year. How you finish is everything, and it's what we will remember as the faculty and staff who have the joy of being part of your high school lives. I'd like to now recognize a special group of individuals. These seniors have been with us for 4 years. I'd like the following students to please stand as your name is called. After the conclusion of the program, let's meet in the back for a group photo with these 4-year seniors, and then we'll get a picture of the entire class together. As I read these names, please hold your applause. Please hold your applause until the end. R.J. Bolduck. Maggie. David. Please don't clap until the end. Okay. Thanks, RJ. Maggie Callender. Nate Caddick. Sherry Chen. Peyton Crowley. Piper Dion. Trent Fountain. Camilla Hecka. Bobby Hess. Jonathan Jiang. Max Keefe. Tay Lee. Elena Lee. Doris Lee. Samel Mu. Jack Danger Raymond. Logan Ruggles. Baran Sabaz. Michael Shen. Andrew Sun. Hope Talawani. Jimmy Tian. Brenna Varon. Maple Yang. Dong Sung Yu. Jim Jong. Jonathan Jong. And Jessica Zhu. Congratulations. I'd like to again thank our speakers, especially those alums who gave up their time tonight to be with us. I'd like to thank the faculty for taking time out of their schedules to drive all of you over here. And I want to thank you, the senior class, for all that you do for our school. This has been a great evening, and I appreciate the role that you will play in our future. I would now like to ask all of our four-year seniors to go back to the room underneath the Tilton School Alumni Association banner, and after that photograph is done, we'll get everyone else. Thank you very much.